Good morning. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 414 of the Two Dum Yinzers.
Ooh,
Mike, this is one of the 17 best Sundays of the year. Of
yes, it is.
course, we're talking about the big game tonight between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Las Vegas Raiders. Sunday night game starting at 8:20. Wow, man, it's here, Mike.
I can't wait. We had a great day yesterday in football. Hopefully it continues over to today with the pros.
Yeah,
Um,
we sure will see. Let me start off on the baseball because it's football Sunday, but I feel obligated to talk about these Pirates just for a moment because of what
mhm.
happened. Of course, the Pirates were down 9-0 yesterday to the Reds, 9-0 in the fourth inning, and the Pirates come back to win this game like 13-12. This was the largest come from behind victory in Pirates franchise history in 137 years. If you caught this game, you caught a game that was more rare than any game that you've ever seen by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Also, with that being said, teams were 205-0 this season when leading by 9 runs at any point in the game.
That's
But
that's
not these
nuts.
Pittsburgh Pirates who
Not
have to
these Buccos, baby.
overachieve with 10 games left.
Yeah, yeah. To make it look like they actually achieved something.
And it's basically what I'm going to do. I'm just going to carry this over from yesterday. I mean, it's such a ridiculous thing. This team stunk so bad. Now all of a sudden, they're playing spoiler with the Reds and the Cubs and anybody else who's trying to make a playoff spot. And all of a sudden, they become the best team in the league. I don't get this.
No.
How you can will yourself to come back from a nine
Hmm.
nothing lead and still you couldn't. Mike,
You
I
couldn't.
thought of it.
Why couldn't you play like this all freaking year long?
Mike, if they would have finished, listen to this. If they would have got 4 more wins in each month, just
Mm-hmm.
four,
Just
not
four.
20, 4 months, that would have been 24 more wins. And instead of 74 and 81, you would be right now sitting there with 98 wins
Yeah.
by just adding 4 wins. So you could will yourself enough to win these last how many games? You won 4 in a row. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
but you couldn't just win a couple more games every month. Come on.
Yeah, and it's more or less the same lineup they've had. Yeah, I understand. We had some call ups, and they're finally tracking. Well, why didn't you call these guys up all at the beginning of the year?
When people are
So
calling
you could
for
have had this success earlier to where you would have been in a better position. It's just piss poor management, and people are buying into this team now, and it's comical. We it's it's frustrating to see the con continue is what it is because next year they're not going to add to this team. They're not going to go out and add a big free agent. They're going to find an over the hill free agent like they always do, and people are going to act like it's a great signing.
so they won 4 in a row. They're 74-81. The Reds are now 79-77. They came into the series 79-75. The Pirates already won the series. They have a chance to sweep the Reds today, which don't get me wrong. I'm all about beating the Reds and
Yeah,
knocking them out of the
yeah,
playoffs. And I mean, the history goes way back with this team. So I'm totally fine with that. But it's irritating. It's just,
yes,
it's,
it's
you know,
frustrating.
it's
It,
frustrating because now again you could will yourself to play this well to come back again from
mhm,
being down 9-0 in a game and you
yeah,
couldn't put together a few more wins each month
exactly.
and that's even being nice. I mean, saying putting you at 98 wins at this point, that's a lot. You could
Hmm.
even say if you would have got just 3 more
Three,
wins,
yeah,
and you'd be
and,
sitting there
mhm,
with 89.
yeah, and the way they started the season and the way they're finishing, that's nice. It's impressive, but it's a disappointing season because what could have been. I'm sorry, expectations change. Yeah, we came in thinking, okay, maybe if they can battle up to 500 this year, okay, we'll take that. No, you come out red hot. You got to keep that streak alive, and then you suck for 3 or 4 months. No, this is not a successful season. This was a terrible season. Again, it is. You come out hot. You should have. They should be in a wild card race right now or division race,
Yeah.
but they're not. So it's a disappointing season. It was a failure of a season. This is year 4 of a rebuild.
and as you said,
you should be contending.
people are still buying in. I mean, they're buying into this garbage with 7 games left. They're all on this streak now. They're all on getting the 500. Now, let me break it to you. They're not going to get 500. They're not. They the margin of error is so small. You lose one of these next 7 games, you don't get your 500. So don't get your hopes up, people. You got the Reds today. They're going to be hard to sweep. On top of, they're pretty pissed off from what happened last night. And then you got the Phillies. We never sweep the Phillies. And then you got the Marlins, which I guess you can sweep. But I'm just going to say right now, they're not going to get 500. If they do, I would be very, you know what? That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, Mike. They're not going to get the 500. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be 81-81. I promise you.
No, it's going to be better than 100 loss season, but it's still not, it's not a good season.
Yeah.
4 years in, you should be contending.
Game 3 of 3 today. 140. If you choose to watch the Pirates over NFL football, more power to you.
There's something wrong with you.
It's wild, man. It really is wild with this team. And again, these people that are getting excited. What are you doing? What do you want?
It makes no sense. I just ugh. It's just depressing because they were showing signs beginning of the year that this is a team that's going to contend at least for a division title, and they can't even do that. They started strong, ended strong, and that's giving people hope. And that's all this team sells is hope in the future. So it's on brand for the Pirates to finish strong.
It's a mirage.
It is, but it's on brand. That's Bucko baseball. Sell the future, man.
Remember the old cartoons when you were a kid and Bugs Bunny's out in the desert and he's sweating and he's crawling along and he sees a pop machine up in the distance. That's all this is. This is one big pop machine.
Yeah.
Penguins play today. Game 1 of their preseason. They play the Columbus Blue Jackets today at 1:00. So you got all kind of Pittsburgh sports today. You got Penguins.
All three are going.
You got Pirates. You got Steelers. The Riverhounds win last night in a game over Mexico United. Clinches up their playoff spot. Riverhounds win this game 2-1.
Let's go Hounds, baby.
All right, let's jump over to football.
Let's do some football.
Yes, as you said, Mike, the college football was pretty wild yesterday.
Oh yeah,
a lot of wild things. I'll start off with your team, Penn State. They beat Iowa 31-0.
Yeah, I know Iowa's offense is not that good, but usually it's a game we struggle with. But oh god, man, we blew them out, and I loved it. It was kind of a revenge game from 2 years ago. One of our linemen, I think it was our defensive lineman, blew his knee out, and their special teams coach, Iowa, was fainting on the sideline, acting like it was a flop, acting like he was injured. And that's all like they talked about all year, all off season was, this is be the revenge game. And we went out there and we spanked their asses. And our defensive end, Chop Robinson, he had made a couple big plays, and he did that, what their special teams coach did. He flopped as a celebration, as a big FU to the team. That they were playing against, and that was like a theme in college football this weekend, was a big FU to the other team for talking smack. And I'm loving it. I'm loving this season of college football, one team talking smack and then the other team is using that as fire and fuel. I'm loving it. You're seeing it more and more, and that's what college football is about, man. That passion, that fire.
Iowa I love. Get shut out, especially when they're ranked. I mean, when they're ranked, they're a pretty strong team, and as you said, their offense isn't that great this year. However, they did get shut out in this game. Also, another one that I was interested in was this Florida State Clemson. I said Clemson could be the team to trip up Florida State. Florida State wins this game 31-24 over Clemson, solidifying them as, they are the team in the ACC this year. No two ways about it.
Yeah, I think, at Clemson's kicker, he had a chance to take the lead like with the $1:30, $1:40 left and just kicked it wide left.
Yeah. First time Florida State won there in quite a few years.
Yeah.
In Clemson, of course. Alabama, Ole Miss, another couple ranked teams. Alabama wins this game 24-10. Ohio State, Notre Dame. I didn't know what to expect coming into this game. Both teams ranking really high. Ohio State wins 17-14 in this matchup.
At the end of the game, the game-winning touchdown drive, Notre Dame went with 10 men on defense. It was an interesting strategy. They did not have anyone lined up over the entire left side of the Ohio State's offensive line. You know,
And if
now's
you
not the
go
time when you want to go 10 men down.
and if you go back and look, it was actually 2 plays in a row. They went
Yeah,
in, they
yeah,
spotted 2 plays in a row that they went out there with 10 guys.
yeah. Like run a guy late out onto the field to get the stop. Okay, they're going to move the ball halfway distance to the goal. Oh well, at least you have a full complement out there. It's just bad coaching. And then Ryan Day, I liked him going after Lou Holtz because I hate Lou Holtz. You know, Lou Holtz was talking smack, and then talking a lot of smack for a guy who wasn't even coaching.
Is Lou Holtz alive?
Barely.
Oh my.
I have never been a fan of Lou Holtz. He's dirty and corrupt, just as all of them. But no one wants to talk about it. So yeah, I hate both teams, but when Lou Holtz has to suffer, it makes me feel better.
Pitt drops it to North Carolina 41-24, which was no surprise.
Yeah,
Jagovkovic gets injured, gets hurt, which quieted the boo birds down. I know that they were
yeah,
boo city was going to town on him. The Pitt was up early. I don't know what happened. I was doing another show at the time and I didn't get to watch it. But the North Carolina Tar Heels come to town. They win 41-24. Pitt drops to 1-3.
oof.
Long season ahead, baby.
Oh
Long
yeah,
season ahead, because this, not only do you play Florida State, not only do you play Notre Dame, but you play a bunch of other teams that,
Mhm.
as of so far, you're telling us by the way that you play that you probably aren't going to win some of
Yeah.
these games as well.
Like I said, it sucks. I'm not a Pitt fan, but there's a lot of good players on there, and they don't deserve this record.
They're I'm thinking about 4 wins at this point,
Yeah,
because
this was like a program that was on the rise, man.
here they are. It's definitely a down year. A lot of their stars went pro last year,
Yeah.
and as I said, I mean, here you are. You're already 4 games into the season. You're 1-3. You're a
Mhm.
third of the way through. You do this 2 more times. I can only really imagine this team getting 2, 3 more wins
Yeah.
tops. But
It's quarterback play, man. Quarterback play is killing them.
they have no quarterback. Everybody wanted Jag off to Vic out, but you know what? There really is nobody else to step in.
Yeah, Valu or however he pronounces his name came in, and he didn't look as good. He didn't look good at all.
Hmm. The big game of the weekend was, of course, the one that everybody was paying attention to. The ranked, what were they, 18?
18th, I believe. Yeah.
18th Colorado and number 10 Oregon. And this is what I'd said. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, as soon as you play a team that's actually really good,
Uh-huh.
and that's not just a way of throwing mud at Colorado. What I mean is this: when you see really good teams playing, when you tune into the playoffs at the beginning of the year and you watch
Mhm.
those 4 teams play, that's the highest level of college football you see. And
Mhm.
everything to the fundamentals is down to everything is done so well, and
Yeah.
it's discipline. And once a team like this Colorado Buffaloes team plays a team like that, I knew that they were going to struggle. They're kind of fly by the seat of their pants kind of team.
Mhm.
I'm not saying they're not disciplined. I'm just saying they're a lot better when you're kind of just out there playing a team and just doing what you do. When it comes down to it, and it comes down to the details of the game, and you have to win every battle
Huh?
to win a game against these really good teams. I knew that they were going to struggle, and you know what? This game was certainly a struggle, Mike. 42, Oregon 42, Colorado 6. And again, if you put this team up against Ohio State, if you put this team up against, any team that's a top quality team in the league,
Mhm.
you have to play such a tight. It's difficult. It's difficult to
Yeah.
win at this level if you're not elite against those teams. And I see a really good Colorado team. I just don't see a team that's built like these elite teams are, in a sense. Yes, they have really good players. Yes, they got good things going on down there. But like I said, there's a certain discipline. There's a certain way that the top teams play, and that's why they are the top teams. And I knew when it came down to it, and Colorado played a team like this, it would be a lot more difficult for them than Colorado State, that they had to come back to win against. It was an unranked Colorado State. And people could even go on and on about this TCU, but I don't think anybody's really even buying it anymore. But you just had to know when they played in Alabama, and Ohio State, a Michigan, any team like this, the game was going to tighten up so much that you have to play their game. You have to keep everything tight. You can't make any mistakes, and you can't just have your quarterback out there. You knew this was coming. I knew this was coming, and they get
Yeah.
you know what they got. What do they got? USC next, so it's going to
Yeah.
be interesting to see which way this
Yeah.
goes.
You can see they really need to beef up on their O line because Shador Sanders was under constant pressure all game long.
That's what I'm saying. You
Like
can't be under pressure all game.
how he completed 72% of his passes under that pressure. I don't know. So that was a gutsy performance by him. You can see they need a lot of help up front. But man, like Dion said, no excuses, man. That was just a straight ass whooping. And they took it in stride. There was none of that. Like you see teams that are always cocky and arrogant or overconfident. They tend to, they get their ass whooped like that. You start seeing personal foul after personal foul. They kept it together. They didn't resort to that kind of ball. And, after the game, Shador Sanders, the guys were running up to him, showing the watches. He was like, hey, you guys earned it. Yeah, rub it in our faces. We got what we deserved. And, they took it in stride. And this is a team, I think everyone knew it's going to be a while. They were 1-11 last year. Huge roster turnover. They're still a bunch of pieces away, especially on both sides of the offensive line and defensive line. They got talent, but they're not there yet. But that hype train got a little derailed yesterday. They do have some really good players, but rebuilding a program is going to take a long time. And
you have to be strong at all 22 positions. And I mean strong. As again, if you're going to be playing these top 5 teams, if you're playing Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, teams like this, you got to be, and that's why I knew they were going to struggle. I mean, yes, they're good. Yes, they have, some high flying players, but you're not good at every position. You're not stacked at every position like these other teams are. And each one of those positions have to win a majority of their battles to win a football game. And for that reason alone, I knew that they were going to be in trouble in this game. And again, it's going to be interesting to see next week how that plays out as well. Is this team going to continue that route, or is this team going to find a way to win against one of these better ranked teams?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
But it looks like you can just run all over Colorado if you have a good running game. And that's good. That's going to be their weakness. And like I said, that O line they got bullied and manhandled. Sanders, he played a really good game for being under the amount of pressure he was. Most quarterbacks would have folded in that situation. He just kept going out there and trying to make plays, but they have skill positions. It's just in the trenches, you have to build up. And my God, I'm a Penn State fan, and I saw it last year, man. Our D line was terrible. Michigan ran all over us. So
you could get away with it.
It starts and ends in the trenches.
You got to you can get away with it again until you play teams that have it all together.
Yep.
And they're going to be fine. Don't get me wrong. This Colorado team's going to be fine. They're probably going to get a pretty nice bowl game. They're sitting 3-1, a third of the way through the season.
They're probably 8 wins or so.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, I wouldn't worry about it. I don't know if people are really Colorado fans as much as they are fans of the hype.
Dion and the hype. Yep. I think even before the season, Dion said we're still like 7 to 8 guys away from competing.
And all the fans and everybody that likes this team, now they're upset with everybody that doesn't like this team. And not everybody has to like this team. I hate that. I hate that people are calling people names and racist. And I don't have to like this team. Jeez, oh man, leave me alone. But
Steelers freak. That's the comment of the year right there. You two are one of the few who call it right with the Steelers. Thank you.
Who is that? I'm not on the page.
Steelers freak down in the comment section.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
So there you have it. You want to talk? You want to talk about Steelers?
Yeah, I want to talk about Steelers.
All right.
I've had 3 donuts and a big ass cup of coffee. I'm all sugared up and ready to roll. Probably going to have a diabetic coma here on air.
Steelers elevate running back, former Pitt running back Quadriolison from practice squad ahead of the matchup with the Raiders. Again, this is probably to fill that McFarland spot.
Yeah.
You won't see much. I don't even know what did they do last week when McFarland got hurt as far as kickoffs. I mean,
I can't even remember, to be honest with you. I can't remember. I'm failing right now at the moment. I don't know who ended up doing the kickoffs after that.
Mike, what do the Steelers need to do to win today?
They need to exploit that Raiders secondary. You know, put the, you know, put your faith in Kenny. We saw what he can do at the end of last year against this Raiders team. Yeah, it's different time, different circumstances, but trust him. Trust him. That O line needs to step up today because my God, they're worse than they were last year at this point of the season. You know, in that first half. I don't. You only replaced one player. That line should not be bad. They should shore up the pass blocking
And
and
you
let
bring in
Kenny
a
win.
guy that's
Let Kenny
supposed to be
win.
a really good
Yeah, a
lineman. It doesn't
mauler, and
like
he can't. He's failing everywhere too. So I don't know what's going on with that line, but I put your faith in Kenny. You know, their pass defense. What you said it yesterday. What was the percentage they're giving up? 81% completion
81%.
percent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I don't know. They need to figure something out. They get their running game on track too. You we don't need the old Steelers. Oh, we're just going to, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but just enough to keep them honest. Because eventually Najee is going to break a run. Eventually Warren's going to break a run. Kenny's out of the play action. Kenny's doing well out of the play action, but we don't run enough to let him use the play action.
everything has to get better first.
Yeah.
There's so many bad things happening.
Uh-huh.
And it's crazy to say that after a game that we just won and against, what's
Yeah.
believed to be a pretty good team. I mean, the defense of this team is good. You have a pretty good offense. I mean, the Browns were not a bad team. I mean, there's a lot worse, is what I'm trying to say. And, we won, but yet there's so many issues, so many problems with this team right now. As you mentioned, the offensive line, I don't know what's going on with that. But again, we did face two, we could call them elite defenses. So maybe playing against the Raiders defense today, the offensive line will be able to
Yeah.
shore that up. This isn't something that you want to do. You don't want to have to play down. You don't have to go find teams that aren't as good before you can start performing better. But I think that we need some kind of primer. We need some kind of igniter. And maybe a game like against a team like the Raiders can be that igniter to where we could build off of. And, we came off the preseason that everybody was all excited about. And, you try to use that as your igniter. Okay, this is good. We went 3-0. We did really well. Let's build off of that and go into the regular season. It didn't happen that way. San Fran came along and certainly shit on that. And again, even after the win last week over the Cleveland Browns, there's a lot of doubt and a lot of skepticism with this Pittsburgh Steelers team. So not only they have to tighten up everything.
Yeah.
And the thing is, okay, we can say, what was the difference? What's the difference between this and last season? They just have to play better, Mike. The line has to block better. Kenny has to play better. The running backs have to run better. The defense has to tackle. They got to
that run defense.
They just have to play better.
Yeah. And for this team to not execute the way they are, it's mind-boggling. I don't know what's going on. And like Frank Steeler Freak in the comments saying, from the owner down, it's a cascading ass pain. That's summing up this first quarter of the season. And the Raiders are average, like Josh Jacobs is averaging 1.6 yards per carry this year.
I like that.
His career average is like 4 something. Our run defense is like the worst in the league. Something has to give there. Like is this what they're going to exploit our run defense? Because if they can, guess what? That's going to open up the play action and against our secondary. Okay, look out. Jimmy G is going to look like Jimmy G in New England. When he took over Brady for a stretch. So it's there. A lot needs to be done. I don't know. Like Pickett needs to figure it out. The line needs to figure it out. The only one who doesn't need to figure it out is George Pickens. Whatever he's doing, keep doing. But everyone else, and outside of TJ Watt and Highsmith, those 3 are the only ones who are figuring it out at this point. Everyone else, I'm confused on.
Say the Steelers come out and win this game by 10 points.
Uh-huh.
And then they play Houston next week and they win this game by 10 plus. I don't know, 14, 13, something. So then you're sitting there, let's break it down in like it was in a 16-game season just for the sake of the math. So you win, you're 3-1. At this point, you're playing good. You just win 2 games by 10 points or more. Then you think before that you won a crazy game against a division rival. And before that, you played in the opening game of the season a really good San Francisco team who was hitting on all cylinders. At that point, 1/4 of the way through the season, how are you feeling about this team, Mike? I mean, see, here's the thing. Let's just say we fall ass backward into the playoffs this year. I wouldn't feel confident at all playing one of these top tier teams. Not at
No.
all. It will
Yeah.
feel like that KC loss, that 34-7, whatever it was a few years
That
back.
drubbing.
That's what I get. That's the feeling I get from this team. And with everything that was done this offseason, it shouldn't be this stagnant. It shouldn't be. At some point, things should feel better. And what's it going to take, Mike? What is it going to take for Pittsburgh Steelers fans to get that confidence back, to get that swag back, to get that feeling that says, you know what, here we go. Let's make a playoff run and do something.
God, to get that swag, they have to start playing like it. Playing like those teams that we saw with Ben Bell, AB, playing with that confidence going into every game, no matter who they're playing, that we're going to win. We're going to put up 30 points a game. We're going to, dominate on defense. We're going to shut them down. But I don't think they have the players for it. I think this team is rebuilding on the fly instead of doing a complete, like this offseason. Like what could have happened is like just a complete teardown of the team and then a complete rebuild. That's probably what should have happened after Ben retired. It was just, you know what, we're just going to rebuild completely, but we're doing it on the fly because we still have carryover pieces. You still have Hayward, you still have Watt, you still have Minka, you had the Highsmith coming along. Offense, we drafted Najee to help Ben in the run game that last year. So we had Deontay sitting there and Freiermuth. So it's like, okay, there are pieces there. They're building on the fly. And I don't think this team's going to be uber competitive against that top tier for another 3 years. That's just
over under.
It's just we're rebuilding on the fly, and we've been stuck in mediocrity for a year because we keep finishing in the middle. We don't want to make Colbert refuse to make splashes in the offseason, in the draft, or in free agency. Now Khan's doing it, but it's not enough right now.
Over under. Here we go. Kenny Pickett, a half a touchdown. Does he get a throwing touchdown, or does he not throw for a touchdown today in Las Vegas?
He's going to get one. And that's it. That's what he's proven. He can throw you one touchdown a game.
Pat Freiermuth, 2.5 receptions.
I'm taking the under.
Okay. TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, 2.5 sacks.
Ooh, yeah, I can see them. Ooh. Raiders O-line hasn't given up a sack yet. I think
they haven't given up a sack yet.
This is the game. This is the game where they get exposed. TJ Watt and Highsmith are gonna go over.
Steelers defense, 1.5 turnovers. More or over?
Under. I think we get one.
Steelers offense, 1.5 turnovers.
Over.
And finally, Boz, 2.5 field goals.
Over.
And with that being said, what is your prediction for this game, Mike?
I'm taking the Raiders. I think it's going to be. We haven't won there since '95. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care who the quarterback is. We haven't done anything. We suck going out to the West Coast. Raiders are going to win. Let's call it 27-17.
Steelers freak on the board. Thank you for everything so far.
Yeah.
He says Pickett 1 touchdown, TJ 2 touchdowns.
You know
I like
what?
this.
I like that. I hope it happens. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love for that to happen.
Mike, let's see. So I got the Steelers winning this game, and it's going to be a little bit of a different kind of game. I think the Steelers are going to win this game 31-25. That is my prediction for the day.
Oh, Ryan, that's a big leap. 31 points out of this offense.
Yes.
Matt Canada is going to call a great one.
It's not the San Francisco defense. It's not Cleveland's defense. I think that we're going to put up more points. I think it's going to be a different kind of game. Here, let's move on, Mike. Some other intriguing matchups. The AFC North looks like this. Tennessee at Cleveland. Mike, who wins this game?
Oh, Tennessee. That Cleveland team's falling apart.
Old Baltimore the old Baltimore versus the new Baltimore. The Baltimore past versus the Baltimore present. The Colts at the Ravens. Who do you like?
The Ravens. Like Lamar Jackson has found a touch. Him and Zay Flowers are looking like a dangerous combination.
And finally, the game tomorrow night. It's a Monday night game. The LA Rams at the Cincinnati Bengals. Do the Bengals get in the win column here, or is it going to be more of the same for them? And
I'm trying to remember who I picked the other day, but today my feeling is I think the Rams are going to win. Carson Palmer. Wow. Wow. Joe Burrow is I think questionable for the game or doubtful, whatever the injury designation is. So yeah, I'll go with the Rams.
And, and I agree with you, Steeler Freak. The team could win, but it won't mean much.
What's it going to
At this
mean?
point, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of things that happen before it starts to mean something. Because, again, this team could come out and they could win today, and they could come out and lay an egg next week. And even, guess what? We got the Ravens in 2 weeks, so things aren't going to. They got to take advantage. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. You got to take advantage against this Raiders team. You got to take advantage against the Texans team that we're going to be playing next week.
Yep, you stack wins early.
Stack your like the Pirates should have done if they would have won.
Exactly,
they would have did better throughout the season. They wouldn't be in the problem that they're in right now. So take some advice from across the parking lot and win early. Get your wins early when you can. Take them when you could get them.
It bit the Penguins in the ass too.
It sure did. It sure did. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The 2dumyinzers.com, the number 2 DUMYINZRS.com. Head on over there. All of our links for all of our socials and for Spotify and YouTube are there. Link to the merch store. Get your Bob Nothing merch if you're a Bucko fan. Get your KP to GP merch for the Steeler fans. Blog is there. I didn't put one up today. I just wasn't feeling it. I'm sorry. Didn't know what to write. But yeah, the blog's normally up there. Yeah, all at the 2dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody.
35 points.
The 2dumyinzers.com. www.
Only if Canada's locked in the janitor's closet.
.com. Go check it out. All right, Mike, we do have Raiders trivia today. This will be the last Raiders trivia question of the year because it is who we're playing. We're playing them today. Here we go. As we mentioned the other day, the Raiders were founded in 1960. Keep this in mind. Who became the head coach of the Raiders in 1963? Here are your choices, Mike. Was it John Madden? Was it Art Shell? Was it Don Shula? Or was it Al Davis? Go ahead and think that over. We are live, everybody, for 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, every week, right here at 11:30. If you'd like to rather just listen to the show in podcast form, you could always go over to Spotify because we put the brand new show that we do every day live. We put that up on Spotify at 8:00 p.m. every day. Every 414 episodes that we have is on the Spotify app. Go ahead and check it out. The whole catalog is there. All right, Mike, who became the head coach of the Raiders in 1963? Was it A, John Madden, B, Art Shell, C, Don Shula, or D, Al Davis? Who do you think?
Al Davis.
Al Davis. Good guess. Is that your final answer?
Yep.
All right. I think Steeler Freak on the board says John. Assuming he says he's talking about Madden. Let me go ahead and lock you in here. All right, here we go. Who became the head coach of the Raiders in 1963? Was it A, John Madden, B, Art Shell, C, Don Shula, D, Al Davis? Mike took Al Davis. Steeler Freak on the board took John Madden, I believe. The final answer, guys, is Al Davis. Al Davis got the head coaching job in 1963.
Yeah, that's one weird fact about Al Davis that I always knew.
Mike,
don't know where I heard it. It's just always rattles around up there.
What's that?
The Al Davis.
Oh,
yeah.
Anything before we get ready to take off, Mike?
Yeah. Other than the report that Matt Canada is going to take a more prominent role working with Kenny Pickett, it's looking like they're going to make. Are they changing him to quarterback coach and going to get a different offensive coordinator? So until I can get a better report from a local reporter other than a national reporter, but yeah. Canada's going to be working more closely with Kenny instead of just being like the offensive coordinator. This is weird.
Mine is this. Of all the seasons that Deontay Johnson could have decided to mirror, he decides to mirror last year when it comes to touchdowns.
Oh,
we're going to be at least 2 more games after this game that he's not going to be available. Mike,
poor guy got a torn hammy.
He hasn't scored a touchdown this century.
He's kicking him while he's down.
But there you go, everybody. We do want to thank everybody for checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you, as always.
Every day, Monday through Sunday, we are here.
Every day. For Mike, myself, we thank the people on the board. As always, Steelers
appreciate it. We love it.
For Mike, myself, the 2 Dum Yinzers, everybody have a great day. Enjoy NFL Sunday and go Steelers tonight.